What is the meaning of the half hour of silence in heaven? It's in Revelation chapter 8. That half hour of silence in heaven has puzzled theologians. In fact, most ministers have no idea really what it is. But today you're about to discover the meaning of the half hour of silence in heaven. Now, it's not going to be as complicated as you think it is. So here in Revelation chapter 8, we find in verse 1, when he opened the seventh seal, this is the final seal, there was silence in heaven for about a half an hour. And what happens next? Then I saw seven angels standing before God with seven trumpets were given to them. So now notice a half hour. So let's start off with, what is a half hour? What does that mean? Well, the Roman clock was divided into 12 sections in 1 hour, just as a day was divided into 12 hours. Remember, Jesus said there are 12 hours in a day to work. Then there's 12 hours at night. So the Roman clock was set on 12. So if you look at a Roman clock, you will notice it starts up with the number 12, which is the top of the hour. And then as you go around the clock, you'll notice it goes to section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the half hour part is the 6th section. So half hour is a reference to 6. So keep that number in mind, 6. So here's the question. Is there anything in the Bible? See, the way to interpret the book of Revelation, you go to the Bible and see if there's something mentioned about that. So is there anything mentioned about silence with the number 6 attached to it, followed by 7 trumpets? Is there any place in the Bible? Yeah, some of you say, oh, yes, I know. Joshua. Exactly. Joshua chapter 6 tells the story where God told Joshua and Israel to march around the city of Jericho for how many days? Come on, 6 days. And what were they supposed to do for those 6 days? Be silent. Shh, don't say anything. Be quiet. In other words, he's telling Israel, quit talking doubt and unbelief. Don't look at the city and say, oh man, this city's too big. How are we going to take it? Oh, look how thick the walls are. Oh, this is too big and we're too small. We don't have enough people to do this. How are we going to do it? God says, shut your stupid mouth up. I don't want you to talk doubt and unbelief. I don't want you to talk yourself out of victory. Do you see this? So this is why God had them to be silent. For how many days? 6 days. But on the 7th day, they were to do what? March around the city 7 times, blowing what? 7 trumpets. That's what Joshua chapter 6, verse 9 says. And when Joshua had spoken to the people, the 7 priests carrying the, what does it say? 7 trumpets. So listen. 7 trumpets they were to blast. And what were those 7 trumpets about? It was them declaring, this is what God says, you're falling down. And the people were supposed to shout, the Lord has given us the city. Even though they haven't got the city yet, even though the walls are still standing tall, they were supposed to shout victory before they saw it. So what is Revelation trying to tell us? What is Jesus trying to get across to his church? He says, sometimes we, the church, like Israel and Joshua, look at Jericho, but we look at the world, and the world seems too big to win and to have victory in spreading the gospel. It seems too large. They're too rich and we're too poor. They have money, we don't. How in the world are we going to preach the gospel to all nations? Because Jesus prophesied, this gospel of the kingdom will be preached to all nations as a witness. And what God is telling the church, just like he told Joshua, tell the people, shut up. Quit talking themselves out of having victory. Quit saying they can't take the world for Christ. They can with God's power. Tell them to be quiet and quit talking doubt. And some of you pastors, you keep talking doubt. Well, our church is too small. No one wants to come down here. We don't have enough money. See, what are you doing? You're talking instead of being silent. And this is what God was showing by this 6 of silence, this half hour of silence. He's saying, be quiet, church. And just watch what God does and blow the 7 trumpets. And the trumpets speak of declaring God's word. He's saying, just declare God's word and watch the world fall into the hands of Jesus. See, this is what the book of Revelation is trying to signify, is that we have the victory, even if it doesn't look it. And Joshua had to shout, the Lord has given us a city before they got the city. And we have to declare the world is coming into the hands of Christ. The kingdoms of the world have now become the kingdoms of our Christ. Do you get this? This is what we're supposed to be declaring. And this is what Revelation 8 about the half hour of silence is all about. It's an encouragement to stay in faith, even though you don't see victory yet, and you know that victory is coming. Shut your mouth up. Don't talk doubt and unbelief. And when it's time, speak the word of faith and declare God has given you the victory.